Welcome back. As I earlier said, this is a little comprehensive look over the follow-up over decent life that is taken according to the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to upgrade and up-level the situation in the low-income brackets and in formal settlements and rural areas and in everywhere that needs some development to develop with the lives of the low-income brackets. A full mission by the Egyptian youth, by different sectors in Egypt also, to be able to develop with the lives of the low-income brackets in Egypt. We're very delighted to be having here live with us here in the studio Dr. Zeinab Nawar. She's a lecturer of economics. Happy Ramadan to you and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. Happy Ramadan to you too.
Same to you. The importance of launching this national plan. Of course, we've got used to wake up every 2 days or every other day by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi giving serious directives to officials in the government to be able to launch a national campaign or a national plan, upgrading health, upgrading economy. We have seen 100 million lives, and we have seen other national health plans for women also, and we have seen national plans to upgrade our infrastructure and everything. Now it's Decent Life. Decent Life is a huge national plan that has been launched and according to the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be able to develop with the lives and the livelihoods of the low-income brackets.
Yes, yes, of course. Decent Life with the general and a very big scale of the initiative itself, it has a very crucial role to lessen poverty in all over the poor villages in Egypt. The importance of Decent Life that it deals mainly with the issue of the infrastructure in poor villages, because of the lack of the infrastructure, the lack of the proper services in poor villages in Egypt. It causes a huge issues if you talk about issues on economic scale or on social scale. So providing poor villages with the infrastructure, roads, paving roads between poor villages, this is very important, the connections between poor areas and poor villages, and even the connections between farmers and the place of farming and also the place of selling the product. So we are talking about a poor farmer who can just easily move from his place and from his village to another village, or going to El Markaz, which is the center, or going to the city, or going to the governorate safely without any problems and without accidents. This is very important. Drinking water, how to provide the poor villages with clean drinking water. This is very important for their health. And of course, you are preventing them from diseases. Sewage and sanitation services. Also, if you talk about the Egyptians' health in these poor areas, so sewage and sanitation services, which is very important. Educational and health services, and taking care of the clinic and the small clinic in villages. Whoever, whenever, at any time needs a medicine, needs a health care, so he will find it in this small clinic, in this small village. So it's a comprehensive plan to reform and to make the lives of the Egyptians who are living in these areas a decent life. So this is very important.
The development of Egypt's villages, however, faces a significant challenge in the sense of the size of the developmental projects that are required for the villages. I mean, some rural areas and some places, you talked about sewage projects, and I mean, some projects that should be developed from the foundation, I mean, from on solid ground. So the challenge is big, and also the size of the project is also challenging. There are lots of challenges in general.
Of course, the size of the project is challenging because the project is tackling all the villages, if you talk about the mother villages, and also the satellite villages. And we all know that the satellite villages of Egypt, we talk about maybe 5,000 of satellite villages. And also we have what we call Izab. It's more smaller than the satellite. Wal Kufur, it's another areas also coming under the satellite villages. So you are talking about a huge scale of administrative units, a huge scale of population that you need to go down to them to provide them with these services. I know that it is a challenging itself because of the big number of villages that the initiative has to cover, but I think the time frame of the project is 3 years, and maybe it could be extended, and this is very normal, and to ensure that these poor villages, which we are talking about 5,000 something, we ensure that these 5,000 villages are receiving the proper services and the proper reform. So this is normal in these projects to have such type of challenges. I would add to what you had said about the big scale of the project and this diversity of services that are going to be provided by the project, but we will have another type of challenges. One of the items and one of the activities of this project, it will include enhancing the means of finding jobs to the poor, in a way or another investigating their needs in terms of projects. This is also another big challenge, because villages in Egypt and even in governorate itself, the types of activities, it differs. The needs of the population also differs. So how you are going to tackle these different types of needs in terms of creating jobs and creating jobs opportunities. This is also a very big challenge, and it is very important for the government to do it and to work on it, plus the infrastructure work, because at the end of the day, if you would like to reform and do a proper rehabilitation to all of these places, so you look for the services, which is also important, and you have to look to the humans themselves in terms of their needs, the resources available, how to use these resources, how to develop certain activities in these villages to increase the incomes of these people who are living in these villages.
Of course. And like you said, each governorate and each village and each district is different from the other.
Yes.
According to, from every front. Awareness-wise, the population,
everything, the type of activities they work on, the education and the educational level, the infrastructure. So, and each governorate, the set of villages, for each village you will find different problems and different challenges than the other one. So it's about how the government is going to deal with this diversified and a lot of challenges on the ground. So
talking about the government, how do you assess the government's hands or support or empowerment to these projects to be accomplished on time?
Of course, the government, I see for the Decent Life Initiative, they have a good plan. They had actually a good plan. They had achieved a good success for the first phase of the project. So I see that the government is doing well in terms of planning the effort, in terms also of setting the finance and the requirements in terms of cash for this project, and also for using the local contractors, and also for asking the youth to support in these projects, and also the type of coordination between different parties and the government, and also the coordination between the government bodies and the NGOs, the big NGOs and the NGOs on the ground. So I see that the government is doing well and is exerting an effort. It's the implementation, maybe it will not be easy. Maybe assessing the current situation in terms of the current needs, needs a hell also of effort and a hell of coordination. But it seems that things are going well so far for the first phase, and I think for the second phase that they are going to work on. So we hope that things will be well and go fine. And even if there is any type of drawbacks, this all could be fixed, and this all
and
lessons learned. Yes, lessons learned for the coming work, because of the huge scale of the project. Until now, the project achieved a success, which is very important. Although having all of these challenges, although having all of these questions that need to be answered on the ground, also a lot of challenges in the implementation itself, but things is going well.
Right. Of course, as we all know, that the National Plan for Developing the Countryside comes as part of a major one within the framework of the idea of sustainable development efforts targeting the rural areas or the informal settlements and everything that is related to that particular topic. How would these projects impact on eradicating unemployment, about eradicating the lack of awareness, the illiteracy, stumbling health problems that sometimes people in these areas, due to the lack of awareness, are facing? Problems like that. Is it going to have direct impact over it?
Yes, of course, it will have a direct impact, because when you talk about reforming and doing a lot of projects to support their lives and to raise their standard of living, when you talk about decent homes even, so you are trying to let the Egyptians live in proper homes. Of course, it will have a reflection on themselves, and also for fighting poverty, because one of the main pillars of fighting poverty is to let people live in decent homes. If people, they don't live in decent homes, you are talking about poverty, in extreme poverty actually, in one of its shapes. So having a decent home, having a decent services, drinking water, sewage and sanitation services, this is number one fighting poverty. Also number one fighting poverty when we talk about educational service and better schools for the students, better health services for the poor. This is number one also fighting poverty. Because when we talk about poverty as economists worldwide, we know that poverty means lacking services, lacking education, education service, lacking health service, and lacking proper homes. So once you are creating for them proper homes and proper services, infrastructure plus education plus health, so definitely you are decreasing the poverty rate. This is number one. Number two, we'll talk about soft skills, but we'll talk about the level of awareness. We'll talk about how you should encourage them to work on their own and to develop their own resources. I think this is the role of the bodies like, if we talk about the social fund, and talk about the different bodies that is providing loans. It also has a role that it's our role as a community. It's our role also as a community to go and to talk with these people for the better means to use their resources. It's the role of the government to determine their needs, because they are going to do some sort of quick assessment or assessment of the current situation, what each villages actually need in terms of project, and the government will work to put the amount of money and to put like a certain amount to serve this. But again, it's the role of the community, it's the role of us to go and to talk with those people and to ask them, yes, to use the resources properly, to use whatever they have in terms of benefits from the government properly, to work on themselves and to find the new ways and new means to start their own project. So we'll say that something has a lot of multi dimensions, and it should include
multi-tasks also.
Yes, tasks, and should include all of us, not only the government.
I guess this would come on a further level, a third level, after establishing a foundation of developing with the infrastructure and providing a decent program or package of education and health package and everything. Then would come the coaching, how to use these facilities and these things that are provided by the government in a proper way, which is something that some people in every country do not realize or do not maintain it in a proper way.
Yes, here it comes the role of the leaders of the villages and leaders of the community to raise an awareness.
And the civil community,
of course, and the civil society. The civil society in the village, it also the community, and you'll find when you go to the civil society in villages, you will find it that it's the community leaders themselves, they are part of this civil society.
And this exactly what was going to be my second question to you, which is with developing villages that aim, of course, to be able to provide a decent life for its citizens, there comes also the efficiency of upgrading the services. The services in integration with Egypt National Decent Life Initiative. By integrating the services and upgrading the services, then you would be giving a balance between developing with the infrastructure, developing with building a new life for these people, and also upgrading the services by the people in charge inside every governorate or every place that is being, or every rural area that project is taken.
Of course, connecting and upgrading the services in these poor areas with the rest of the governorate, this is very important, and also it work on decreasing the differences in the standard of living and the difference of productivity and the difference that could happen, because that some areas of Egypt, we have a full type of services like what we have here in Cairo, and also maybe other areas they are lacking these type of services. So once you do an upgrade for these areas, so you will have, we'll talk about the issue of equality. So here you are working on the equality concept. Means what? Means that you are giving chances and you are giving the resources to the whole of us, not only for those who are living in cities and who are living in Cairo or Alexandria, no, the other Egyptians who are living in different areas of Egypt. So by doing in this upgrade, you are working on the issue of equality, achieving equality in communities, and ensure that all of us as Egyptians, we are enjoying the same level of services. This is, of course, it has a reflection on our standard of living. So yes, this is very important. I would like just to go back to the issue of awareness again, once again. To work on the awareness in communities, this is the work of community leaders.
On that very optimistic note, we'll have to end it here. Dr. Zeinab Nawar, you are a professor or a lecturer of economics, a professor of economics. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much.
And I guess this would bring us to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you once again tomorrow morning, that's a goodbye.